Nothing could be more amazing other than being at the UT field. Here we are at the Cotton Bowl. Look at this, it's incredible. Well, it's built in the 1930s, the history behind it. Everything about this is amazing. You saw earlier the team coming down through here and rushing onto the field. It's just amazing. For us to be able to come to these places and shoot football, it's just, you get the chills immediately going in the locker room, you know. All the places that we've been able to go, it's amazing. And this is the last episode. The fans have been so great. This place is interesting because it's so loud. But even though they only filled up about a small section here, you couldn't hear yourself thinking. Just with those people, that's how much they love the show. You know, fans have been great coming out here and doing all this with us. And this last episode, the way they've ended it, there's a key part of it happens here at this stadium, and it's just going to be a great way to end the show. Just like in the year prior when we thought the show was going to get canceled, they ended it in a perfect way. And now this year, I think they're ending it in just a really well done manner. And hats off to Jason Kadam. So to be at the Cotton Bowl, it's magical, baby.
We're at the Cotton Bowl. We're at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, and this is our last night shooting football for Friday Night Lights. It's a pretty big deal, and it's a beautiful night, and this is one of those nights that makes me love that we are shooting this show in Texas. It's really, really great. I came in, they brought me down to do our reaction shots, but they were still doing this shot of the team running on the field, and they break through the banner, and so I just, caught it, didn't know that was happening.
We're gonna move some cameras around.
And immediately burst into tears. It was so,
We're now gonna look back toward the tunnel.
It's just,
So what we'd
this
like to
show
do
is
is
so,
everybody
it just
go back
captures so much feeling in the magnitude of this place, and
Put it back
it's a
on
pretty
the
big deal. It's our last night. We have had the people who come and sit in the stands at our games are so amazing, and they're so generous with their time, and they all have such a genuinely good time. I me's they're the best. We couldn't do it without them, truly. We've been in so many of these stadiums over the years, and it never gets old. It's still, every time I walk in in the first moment, I'm just like, wow, this is huge. It's really a big deal. The thing that's so great about Friday Night Lights, and at least what I love about it, and I think what a lot of the audience loves about it, is it's about the feelings that it evokes, and just walking into a big place like this and having this sense of camaraderie and competition and all of those things, and enthusiasm and passion and all that. It's just it feels great.
I had no idea the show was going to last 5 years. We started out with just a pilot, and then we got picked up for 13 episodes, and we got 9 more, and it always has kind of been a waiting game with the show, hoping we get some more episodes. And there's a lot of people disappointed we're only doing 5 seasons, but we at least got 5 seasons, and that's way more than a lot of shows. We shoot everything in Austin, Texas. If we shoot at a house, it's a real house, a real hospital, real schools. So it's actually really freeing as an actor to be able to be in a real environment rather than a fake sound stage where, if you walk 2 feet over there, it's the end of this shot because there's no more set dressing. But it's awesome. We have great fans in Austin. Everybody's always so welcoming. If we have to camp out on their lawn or something and leave some camera equipment, people are like, yeah, come on, shoot at my house. No problem. So people have been very welcoming in Austin. It's a great city. Well, we started out with Julie. She was a freshman in high school. So it's just we followed her going through high school onto college, through a lot of really, really trying years. And it's been awesome to be able to grow with a character a lot, because Julie goes through something and I'll go through something very similar. But I think it's kind of cool that a show actually takes them through high school. And we've lost a lot of characters over the years due to graduating, but it's just like real life where you have a great friendship with somebody for a while and they come and leave your life and make new friends and stuff. We have a tremendous cast. It's huge, but we have the best cast in the world. A lot of our actors are kind of from all over the place. Luann Stevens, who plays Grandma Saracen, she's from Texas. So we have a lot of cool, very local actors on the show, and they're all fantastic. It's such a pleasure to work with all of them because you learn and grow as an actor each day working with them. The last season, season 5 for Friday Night Lights, is definitely a season for the fans, I would say. A lot of the characters' storylines get wrapped up, so you have some closure. With Julie's storyline going off to college and kind of really deciding what she wants to do with her life, and her relationship with Matt. And I think for the fans, they'll really just enjoy it. I've enjoyed working on it, and it's sad to be over, but I'm so glad we got 5 seasons.
We're in Dillon, Texas, and we just filmed my last scene. It's very exciting. You know, it's bittersweet, but it's kind of been drawn out. Like, it kept being like, this is your last episode. No, this is your last episode. Every time I was super excited to come back. But I think now I'm like mentally and emotionally like come to terms with it. It's just like, cool, I'm glad I got to do one more episode, and now it's on to the next. I mean, it was just fun. Everyone we worked with, the quality of the product we put out. The only surprise in it going this long was that, you know, people always made it seem like we were on the bubble, we weren't coming back or whatever, and then someone would, you know, be our lifeline at the end. But, you know, given the show we were making and the way people reacted to it, I think we always believed that it was a show that could succeed for a while. Matt's been fun to play. He's a good kid. He's not perfect, but people seem to think he's pretty close. And, you know, it was always fun doing all the football. I loved it. We had a great time on the field and all those football players. And it was a bummer to not be doing football anymore. And it was a transition. But, you know, I got to do some really cool stuff and explore different parts of, you know, Matt's character and ultimately go to Chicago, which is just Congress Street in Texas. The show wouldn't have worked half as well if we'd filmed it in LA or New Mexico or Atlanta. Nothing against those places. It's just the show is about Texas and football in Texas. And to not film it in Texas, there just would have been something missing. And so many of the, besides the main cast, so many of the characters were from Texas or from Austin. And just the vibe of the town, you know, it's something you can't really put your finger on, but there is something, I hate to say like in the air, but there is something to actually being here that makes it just more authentic. I've always thought sports is such a good, you know, for kids growing up, it's a good thing to like prepare them for life in a way. Just working with other people you don't necessarily get along with or whatever, from different walks of life than you. And you know, I think why sports dramas or stories or so people get into them is because there is always this either David versus Goliath thing, or, you know, just overcoming adversity and coming together as a group. So the Clear Eyes Full Hearts thing, you know, it's just, I mean, it just kind of boils down to if you stay focused and genuine, you know, and you're gonna do all right. We had a great run. It was a great 5 years. I was, you know, honored to be a part of it, and sad to see it end. But, you know, we'll see what the next thing is.
All right, here we are at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, and this is where the 2010 Texas High School Football State Championships finals are. The Lions made it all the way to state, and who knows how they'll do. This is like pretty awe-inspiring. The minute you walk out through that tunnel and just imagining what it must be like to have all of these rows back here full of tens of thousands of fans, it's a pretty impressive spectacle. You know what? I gotta be honest. It feels amazing, dude. And we just broke through the paper, and it's like, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's so cool. It's humbling. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm just so grateful. I mean, as we're heading towards the home stretch here, just overwhelmed with gratitude and you know, sadness to see it, you know, kind of, you know, come to the end of the road here, I guess. And yeah, my character's graduating, and you know, we'll see what happens in the finale. Yeah, undeniably, this show is definitely a slice of Texas, and it makes me jealous that I'm not Texan. Yeah, Luke has definitely evolved, but from the very beginning, I've had a huge place in my heart for him. I just really felt him and really embraced him. And the things I love the most about Luke are he's sincere, he's genuine, he's authentic, he's staunch, he's you know, he's loyal. He's a really loyal guy. He's a hard worker, he's a fighter. Being forced onto a team that Luke wasn't initially excited about was a huge blow to his ego, and definitely took away a lot of his cockiness, I think. And in that humility, he really found being a team player and being a part of something great and building something from the bottom up. And I think that those were, that transition was when Luke really started becoming a young man, like a man. The backdrop of having Texas high school football is so beautiful because there's an innate opposition that's involved. There is a struggle to work towards. There's a group of people that you want to rally behind. And then that's just the macrocosm. The microcosm is all these beautiful stories of real human beings with real life struggles. And because it's been handled with such truth in the writing and in the approach with shooting it and in the acting, all of these stories are incredibly endearing, incredibly endearing and lasting. And I think that that's why people put so much support behind the individuals in the show, the characters. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. It's a perfect slogan for everything that this show represents. It's the truth and the reality of the characters and their struggles and their relationships. It's the heart of the crew and the uniqueness of the way that it's shot and the people that have devised these brilliant scripts and this brilliant idea and cultivated that. The artists who are involved in it and the way that they invest themselves. Being on the set here and seeing how much heart goes into this production, from the office work through the editing and everywhere in between. It's an unbelievable privilege to be working on a show that embodies and represents and reflects that much heart.
I think my character added some youth to the mix. She definitely thought that she had it all figured out at first, but then life kind of slaps her around and shows her, hey, you don't really know everything. And but I definitely think that this year she's grown into her own, like becoming more independent and like living with Billy and Mindy, like, and actually having like a home base really empowers her over the season. And I think she's grown a lot, and I hope that everyone else sees that too. She's kind of aiming high with Tim Riggins at first, but I definitely think that this season you'll see that she's not just like the little girl that's knocking on his trailer door anymore, and her relationship with Luke really grows into something a little bit more than like puppy love and like a real like mature and heartfelt relationship between the two of them that's not just stereotyped to, oh, they're just high school kids, whatever. Like, they really do care about each other, and those feelings run really deep. And so it was nice to have the opportunity to show that these feelings are real and these emotions are real, and what these kids are feeling is really real, and they are in love, and it might be their version of love right now, but it sure is love, and they sure feel it. And so definitely. Tyra has, she's gone off to college, and she's gone on to bigger, greener pastures, and so she's back for Christmas and just catching up with all of her old friends. Tyra reconnects with a past flame, and we'll see what happens from there. I can't give you anything else because I'll just give it all away, but I think that she's going to find herself a little torn between what she really wants. Well, part of the appeal of the show from, as an actor standpoint itself was just working with everybody and getting to be in an environment where we all loved each other, and to be a fan of the show as well. It has so much heart, and we're able to really develop our characters, which is, I think, what people really resonate with. And there's somebody from every single character that people will be able to kind of pull from and go, I know that girl, I know that guy. I think it really hits home for a lot of people. We're at Buddy's Bar right now, and it's a scene with Taylor Kitsch, who plays Riggins, and Saracen and Julie, and we're all just kind of reconnecting and cheersing, and it's going to be fun. Well, what this show's meant to me, it's been everything. It's been a family, it's been a learning experience, it's been so special, I can't even begin to tell you. So this is only going to be fond memories for me. Austin is my favorite city on the planet, and I plan to live here someday. It's been so special, and everybody is so supportive for us to be here. It's never been awkward or weird. We'll be sitting at Guero's, Connie, Kyle, and I, and people walk by and just be like, thanks for being here. It's kind of like this camaraderie around it. It's just such a special place. Friday Night Lights is the heart of America. It represents everything that we strive for, everything we want, real life. It has heart, and you will fall in love with every single character. But you should really start from the beginning because you need to know everything.
It's just weird how fast it went. 5 years, you know, that's a long time to do anything. But it's been an amazing 5 years. Amazing. I don't really think the improv's and the process has changed. If anything, we've really taken it and ran with it, especially when you get to know the characters and you get to know the beats, the tone of everything, and the freedom you get. For me personally, is I think accelerated the growth as an actor and even as a person, because you're taking risks and you're just working with everyone more or less on the same page, which has been an amazing journey to do it with these guys, especially the core, you know. So it's been great. You know, you get the call, or I mean, I was just doing a film that took 8 months, and you're, you know, beyond exhausted, but you know, you get a call mid-shoot of that, and you're like, okay, they want you back for 4 episodes, and I never had a moment where it's like, oh, I got to go play Riggs again. I got to go back to that process, the freedom and everything else, and see Chans and work with Billy again. It was always something I looked forward to, and if anything, it made me, through that other process, which is a lot slower, more technical, it makes you come back and take a lot more risks and try and be even freer, if that's even possible on this show, you know. We're very real and relatable, and if you can't relate to Riggs, I'm sure you can relate to one of them. And I think that's what pulled us through 5 years. You saw a lot of Riggs, or who he was on the field, of why he was so intrinsic, and basically he didn't say a lot at the beginning. And you saw a lot of who he was on the field in regards to just, you know, how angry and everything else he was holding inside. So that was a huge piece of that character. I missed that part of him, because I think that's the one place for Riggs where he could actually let go and just be himself for an hour, you know, and be around the other guys and be comfortable in his own skin. So that was a huge, I missed that. I really miss being on the field with the guys. I mean, you're thrown, every character has had their curveballs, from, you know, of course, Street to Becky to Riggs going to prison to, I mean, it's endless, really. And they're real stories, you know. A lot of what we did are true accounts of what's happened and throughout Texas, throughout high schools. You know, I remember phoning Kadams and asking if this is actually, like, I thought it was super far-fetched, some stuff, and he's like, no, legit, and he sent me an article, and it's like, fair enough. So you can't really argue about truth, you know.